he's going to decide rather to use trickery and subterfuge, which is evidently the thing that he and his countrymen do. Go to my verb. My subjects. Verbs, infinitives, and subjects. These are helpful, right? Concilia versara dolos ingressus et astu incipit haec. I like to infer an est, right? They left off the est there. Because this is an et, there's a verb, this is really a clause. He began to turn tricks with a plan. It's an expression for to be crafty and have a course of action in mind. And he began to turn tricks with a plan, and he began these things with trickery. He began these things with trickery. This, of course, is rather redundant, but it's getting at the fakery, the trickery that some Homeric battle norm is not going to be followed. It's not going to be followed. Quid tam egregium si femina forti fidus equo dimittifugam et te communis equo mecum creda solo pugnaeque kinga pedestri. Quid tam egregium. What so outstanding? And I'm going to get an est in there. What is so outstanding? What is so outstanding if you, a woman, tricky, because you have a nominative and a second person verb. If you, a woman, trust, fides means to trust. If you, a woman, trust to a powerful horse, what's the implication? That Camilla, who's on horseback, is only achieving success because, well, she's a woman, right? Femina. You can kind of hear the derision, the scorn, like all that alliterativeness right there. Femina forte fides. The only reason she's experiencing success on the battlefield is because she is riding a horse. She's riding a horse. There's nothing outstanding about that. There's no glory there. Dimita fugam et te communis aequo mecum creda solo. Commands here. Send away flight. Namely, if it gets hairy for Camilla, she can just ride off on her horse. So he's saying, get rid of that possibility. Send away flight, and face to face, trust yourself on equal ground with me, and get ready for a dative of purpose, for a foot battle, for battle on foot. Pedestrian is someone who's on foot. Already, you will know. Anastrophe. Now you will know. Now you will know to whom breezy glory brings deceit. Oof. To whom breezy glory brings deceit. There is my relative clause of characteristic. Characteristically, breezy glory is something that's breezy, typically described as something substantial, serious. No. There are famous lines from Catullus in the ancient world that the promises of women are written upon the water and spoken upon the breeze. Now, we're going to have Catullus echoes later on, but this is going to be the beginning of our discussion of Catullus and what he has to do with the Aeneid. Here, he doesn't get named, did you notice? It's just the war maker's son. In this epic, he doesn't get named. We don't know his name. He's the war maker's son of Aunus. We don't get his name. Probably because of this. He himself is about to perpetrate a deceit while accusing Camilla of really being a fraud. because her glory comes from mounted horseback. Her killing comes on horseback, not really on foot, one-on-one, in a real way. And so he is trying to get Camilla to come down from her horse so that he himself can then run away, or have a chance of running away, getting on a horse and fleeing because he knows he can't win. So he's going to attack her honor, her pride, her sense of glory and self-esteem so that she comes down off the horse so he can run away. Which, of course, is cowardly. It's un-Homeric. It's unheroic. And so he gets no name. He spoke. But she, raging, and burned, Ablative stem there, with bitter pain, hands over her horse to her comrade, and stands in equal arms. Stands what? Oh, her foot. With a naked sword, and unterrified with a pure shield. But she, raging and burned with bitter pain, hands over her horse to her comrade, and stands her feet, in equal arms, with a naked sword, with the sword exposed, with the sword out, and unterrified, with an unblemished shield. So she hadn't even taken any blows on her shield. And she obliges, right? She gets down off the horse, and she hands over, because her squad is with her horse to her comrade. And of course she's angry, burned. Oh, it's her honor, her kleos, her glory. And she puts her feet in equal arms. Kind of a strange battle idiom there, that she stands ready in the same weapons that our man, the War Maker's son, is in. So equal. With the naked sword and an unblemished shield. So just a shield and a sword. She's ready. She's ready. But the young man, having thought to have conquered by means of a trick, he flew away, scarcely with delay. And the fugitive is carried away with reins having been turned, and he tires out the four-footed creature, namely the horse. The swift horse with bronze spur. Quick as that. Soon as Camilla gets down, ready to fight, fine, one-on-one. He gets up on a horse, but the young man, having thought to have conquered with a trick, flies away. He himself flies away. English won't even probably use that. Scarcely with delay. So as soon as she gets down and she's ready, he, boom, flees. And the fugitive is carried, same guy, right? But it's technically a subject change. The fugitive is carried with the reins having been turned. So you must imagine somebody on a horse turning the horse's head with the reins to go the other direction. And he tires, fatigue, he tires the horse, the swift horse, with iron spur, and he's off. The next person speaking is going to be Camilla. Vana ligus frustra quanimis elata superbis. English is going to have a hard time getting this literally, right? Oh, empty Ligurian. And having been carried away, it's ferfer tuli latum. Having been carried away in vain. It's going to be in vain because she's going to catch him and kill him. And having been carried away in vain with these arrogant spirits, probably the words really is what she's getting at when he was impugning her honor, her glory, that she was a woman and she was just getting honor because she was on a strong horse and she wouldn't dare get down and face him on foot, right? Those words, that's the arrogant spirits that he had. In vain, temptasti lubricus. Temptasti, of course, is syncopated, tempta visti. In vain, nequicam, you have tempted, you have tried. I'm going to leave that lubricus off for a minute because it's tricky. The fatherly arts, namely the arts of his father, who, evidently because they're Ligurian, Apennine-dwelling people, are shifty, shady, subterfuge people who do tricks. In vain you have tried the fatherly arts. Lubricus, it means slippery, slimy, and has a very negative connotation. Slippery, slimy, ugh. English would want an adverb rather than an adjective like that. You slimily have tempted the fatherly arts. And of course, arts very often has a positive connotation, but not here, because the arts of the father are trickery. They're slimy, ewy. Fraud, nec, means not. Will not perferet, future. Fraud will not bring you safe to fallacious aunus, to liar, cheater, to deceiver aunus, namely his father. So, trickery, deceit, it's just going to be shame that's going to come back to his father, who is also a shameful man because Fallaci, they're deceivers. They're deceivers. Haec fatur virgo. The maiden says these things. The virgin says these things. And Ignia, on fire. Camilla, on fire. Crosses over to the horse is the idea. With a run. With swift feet. Whoosh. And, having been across, with the reins having been grabbed, and across, with the reins having been grabbed, she meets him. She comes into contact. There's a collision, and she takes up punishments from his hateful blood. She takes up punishments from his hateful blood. So, he's about to turn. He's turning away. He's about to flee. She leaps over, grabs the reins, and is about to kill him. She's going to kill him. And you're like, how is she going to kill him? Well, we're going to get a lovely simile.